Beware the moon's curse, the terrifying tale of Fannie, Lamar, and the bloodthirsty werewolves. Lamar had never believed in monsters. Raised in the foster system, he had learned to be self-sufficient and to rely on reason and logic. But now, walking through the dark forest, his heart pounding in his chest, he couldn't help but feel a primal terror rising in him. He was lost, alone, and he knew that something was hunting him. The moon was full and bright overhead, casting shifting shadows through the trees. Lamar had been driving home from work when he had taken a wrong turn and ended up wandering through the woods on foot. He had been walking for hours, stumbling over rocks and fallen branches, when he first heard the howling, a low, mournful sound that echoed through the trees. At first, he had thought it was just a pack of coyotes. But the more he listened, the more he realized that something was different about these howls. They were too deep, too guttural, too human. Lamar started to run, his heart pounding as he tried to escape the sound, but the howls only grew louder and closer. And then he saw them, a pack of wolves, emerging from the shadows. But they were too big to be wolves. Their teeth were too sharp, their eyes too bright. And as he watched, the wolves started to change. Their limbs seemed to stretch, their fur growing thicker and darker. Lamar felt his stomach turn as he realized that he was being hunted by a pack of werewolves. He ran harder, his breath coming in ragged gasps, but he knew it was only a matter of time before they caught up with him. And then, suddenly, he saw a light in the distance, the flicker of a candle, dancing in the darkness. He ran towards it, his heart lifting with hope. Maybe there was someone out here who could help him. As he approached, he saw a cabin, a small, ramshackle thing, barely more than a shed. But even as he ran towards it, he knew that something was wrong. The air was thick with the stench of death, and he could see shadows moving inside. He hesitated, his nerves jangling as he tried to decide what to do. And then he heard a voice, a woman's voice, singing softly from within. He pushed open the door, stepping into a small room lit by flickering candles. It was almost unbearably hot inside, and the air was thick with smoke. He saw the woman, Fannie, sitting on a stool in front of a fireplace, stirring something in a pot. She was an old woman, her hair long and stringy, her eyes dark and unfathomable. She looked up at him, and for a long moment, they both just stared at each other. "I'm lost," Lamar said, his voice shaking. "I need help. There are things out there." Fannie just smiled, and Lamar thought that he saw a glint of something in her eyes, something that made him shiver. "We don't get many visitors out here," Fannie said. "You're lucky to have stumbled on my humble abode. Sit, sit. I'll feed you. You look famished." Lamar hesitated, but his stomach was achingly empty, and the food smelled delicious. He took a seat on a rickety chair as Fannie brought him a plate of steaming meat. As he ate, he heard a sound outside, a low, keening noise that made the hairs on his neck stand up. "What is that?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "Probably just the local wildlife," Fannie said, but her voice was tight, and Lamar could tell that she was lying. And then he heard the scratching at the door, the sound of claws against wood, as if whatever was outside was trying to force its way in. Lamar leapt to his feet, his heart pounding with terror. "We have to leave," he said, grabbing Fannie's arm. "We have to get out of here." But she just laughed, and Lamar could see that her teeth were sharp, like a wolf's. "You're too late," she said. And then he saw them, the werewolves, in the true form, their eyes glowing in the darkness. Fannie was one of them. Lamar turned and ran, his heart pounding as he sprinted through the woods, trying to escape the werewolves' clutches. But he knew that he was already doomed. The howling had started again and echoed in the night sky. And then he felt the sharp pain in his back, the piercing bite piercing his skin. He screamed, feeling his blood seeping out under a werewolf's razor-sharp teeth. The world went dark as the werewolf dragged him down to the ground. Minutes later, Fannie stood above the mangled corpse of Lamar, her skin still cracked and hairy from her transformation. She lifted her face to the moon, howling along with the rest of her pack as they rejoiced in their latest hunt. Lamar's screams had quickly died down, and his blood dripped from Fannie's chin. He had thought he could escape the werewolves, but he had been wrong. The forest was full of monsters, and now Lamar was just another victim of the creatures that prowled the woods.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and tell us what you think in the comments. And of course, don't forget to subscribe.